our first order of business is to ask a member in the audience if they would hire us to sing at the hockey games. Your lips didn't move. Oh my. Item number 3, additions to the agenda. Go ahead, Councillor.
Chair, I'd like to add a traffic study to the agenda, please.
Do you want that under new business? Yes. Yeah, 9.2. Was there anything else? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended. Moved by Councillor Durkee. Do we have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor LeBlanc. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary minded, motion carried. Item number 5, declaration of any conflict of interest. At this time, fellow councillors, I will declare a conflict of interest in under item number 10, correspondence 10.1A, and I will step away from the table when that comes up for discussion. Item number 6, presentation 6.1, Yarmouth Seafood and Wine Extravaganza. Carol, Mitch, and Joanne, if you wish to come down to sit here in the front. If you'll press the red bar there, I'll turn the mic on. On. If when one of the other people wish to speak, if you just kind of angle the mic, please, appreciate it. We are being televised, so.
Do you want to pass it? All right. No, do you want to pass that out? Okay. So we have a present for you.
You have a what?
We have a present for you.
Okay.
We're going to hand it over. They're hot off the press.
Sorry. If you
Just
just bend the mic down a little bit, Carol, that's, yeah, thank you.
Okay, is that good?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So the present that we just handed over are a few snapshots of what took place here in Yarmouth, and some of the ones that, thank you so much, and some of the ones in Jamaica. One of the ones that was taken in Jamaica was the flag that you presented to Randy, that you, Warden, presented to.
This isn't Yarmouth, I see palm trees there.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, the 2 flags flew the whole time that we were in Jamaica. So thank you very much for doing that, and we brought you a picture to prove it.
And your picture of the lighthouse is, your photo of the lighthouse hangs very proudly at Lover's Leap in the restaurant, and they've issued a kind of an invitation for other people that live in lighthouse communities to bring pictures. Really? So, you know, I invite you all to come in to Lover's Leap.
Yes.
Oops, I touched something. Hopefully I didn't touch something too bad.
No, you know.
So the reason that we're here this evening is you should have received some information about what took place this time around. And there's a brief explanation of extravaganza, and it's followed up by the cultural exchange. So originally we started out with seafood and wine extravaganza, which then morphed into, after all these years, extravaganza started out as a one-time event to take place during our 250th celebrations back in 2011, and that was the way it was until the following year, when we were asked, so are you planning on doing that again? And by tourism, and tourism, we then went forward with it up until last year. This year, 2019, was our very first year for the cultural exchange, and the country that we chose was Jamaica due to the connections that we had there. And the exchange was with a small fishing community, and a small fishing community in Treasure Beach was where in Treasure Beach, Jamaica, is the fishing village that has so many things in common with our small fishing village here in Yarmouth. And it just became evident that a cultural exchange was what we needed. So we did exactly that. We worked together with them to bring Jamaica here, and they came and spent the weekend of Hurricane Dorian with us here in Yarmouth. So we brought people from from an island that is hurricane struck more often than us, fortunately, to one of the biggest hurricanes that we've ever seen here in Nova Scotia. So they got to live through a hurricane here. And they had nothing from Dorian, so that was perfect all the way around in a kind of sort of way. However, Dorian did wreak a lot of havoc on events that were planned for the event. So our signature event for the cultural exchange, it was intended to be On the Rocks, which is an event that takes place at the Lighthouse, which of course I feel is one of our most prominent icons in all of Nova Scotia. And everything was planned for outside, and within a matter of 2 days, we had to revert everything to inside. So inside, as in securing a place during a hurricane. So we had to do such things as rent a generator large enough and strong enough to be able to run an entire club with lights, kitchen, and all the facilities that normally would be at a club. So we persuaded the Yarmouth Golf and Country Club to take us on. And we had to get everything ready there. Everything that was outside, of course, is the magical beauty of On the Rocks, and the Lighthouse was the entire backdrop, which we then tried to recreate inside, and we had 2 days to do it. So our community really came together to give us a big hand in that respect. So we had decorations from all over the county. We had mainly from the Ark, which was kind enough to be able to provide. They had just recently done a production of The Little Mermaid, so they had some sort of seafaring kind of things that we could pull in to use inside. We had to rent pipe and drape that we had no intention of doing. We had to rent a generator, like I said, that we had to keep on a truck. It was too large to be able to remove off of the truck, so we had to then cable it to the Golf and Country Club. So in doing all of this, we had a number of things which I think were in the letter here. We did have a budget for everything that we had, and the budget was sufficient, even though we didn't receive the funding that we had hoped to from all of the areas. If you take a little look at that budget, you will see what we requested and what we actually received from each of the areas. And bottom line is, we came in with revenue of $20,425.42 and ended up with expenses of $23,559.42, which leaves us with a shortfall of $3,134. Also, we had something of significant value that happened today only. I received an email from Tara Manthorn at the Vanguard, and she has presented an opportunity to us that our festival could be highlighted in the NSLC magazine called Occasions, and that it would put us in magazines all around the province. Sure.
Are we supposed to have the presentation?
Yes, you should have the presentation.
It should be, presentations fall under 6.
No, I don't think it's long.
Oh, 6.1.
We got it, keep going.
Okay, so anyway, we received this opportunity, so I'm going to meet with Tara in the next couple of days, and she is going to review with me the media kit that is required, because there are certain things required from us for media, and she will have the ins and the outs of that. So I will meet with her in the next couple of days to go through that and see what the costs are going to be. So this is one of the things, the date for that happening is January the 10th is the last deadline, thank you, is the deadline. So we are going to need funds, depending on costs, to be able to be part of that. And Occasions magazine is in all NSLCs all around the province, and it is one of, if we have the opportunity to give a recipe, to be able to highlight our chefs, and definitely highlight the exchange, which is now the major part that has taken over Extravaganza, is the cultural exchange. So to be able to do trade. And the other thing is, this year coming up, we are working with Jamaica and Italy, and I'm going to let Joanne tell you about the Italian part of it. But one of the things that we would like to do is to bring the wines from a particular vineyard to Nova Scotia, and if we can do that, we will be working with ACOA and Ren to be able to get a meeting in Halifax to see how we can work out this thing. So in order to be able to do that, we are going to need a little bit of help.
So, happy holidays, and thank you for making time for us. Very quickly, I must say that I made a presentation to you when we started this journey together, and we really didn't know, well, of course, we had a feeling that it would be successful, but truly, anybody that attended the events, I'm sure you've heard that it was wonderful and lots of fun for people, lots of really interesting relationships were made. There's going to be an oyster sauce that's made from a Jamaican recipe that we're going to launch for Canada and the United States, and it's going to be distributed by somebody in Yarmouth. There's chef exchanges going on that are going to happen in the next months. So it really is an educational piece, and it's a trade piece, and I think to launch in the middle of that mess of a hurricane, the community came out and supported us, but our governments did not give us quite as much dollars and cents, so we really need a little bit more help from the community government. For me, I mean, we want to showcase Cape Frechou as the gem that it is. I was in Italy in November, and I have secured 2 chefs to come to Yarmouth. One is one master chef for Italy, and he is coming, and another chef is coming. They're bringing wines from their vineyard to display here, and also they might bring an odd shoe. You know, I'm in the shoe business, and it's a shoe place, so you might see an odd shoe around. But anyway, I think there's about 7 of them coming. And they want us to come to visit Civitanova is the name of the town. It's a fishing village on the Adriatic coast. And I have secured also for the next year, Bordeaux, France is coming. And with the links we have with France, I think will be a nice mix. So, you know, we really have something amazing that's in its infancy, and I think it will draw people from all over. People today are looking for somewhere safe to travel to, and I really believe that if we create links between our websites and the different hotels here, I really want Jason to do a couple of he's from Jamaica, the hotelier, to do some seminars with our people who have hotels here and exchange information on how he powered up in a little town of 6,000 people, and he's full all the time. I mean, so many things can be done with this little exchange, but we all need to be supporting it in its infancy. But I thank you again for your consideration, and we're really excited about the future.
Mitch?
You used up our time, it's okay. I'm good. No, I'm good.
So basically, that's the bottom line. We are looking to move forward and as quickly as possible, and so we are requesting the...
Carol,
Pardon me?
before you move on, the member on your right there.
This one?
Yes. How long has he been a member or been part of your extravaganza?
Since
Has it been 1 or 2 years?
about this time last year, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
so 1 year. I'd like to hear from him. I want to hear some information from you.
Yep.
What you think of this.
Well, you know, I don't do much of anything unless there's a reason, and I saw what they were doing, and I think it's a wonderful opportunity for everybody in this end of the province to build something wonderful. And we look at the Cape Breton colors, there's no reason we can't have the same kind of thing down here. There's endless possibilities with this. I mean, everything costs money, and we do the best we can, and I think with some help, we can start bringing this stuff together and make a lot of things happen down here.
I'm sorry, councillors. What have you found, though, as being, I knew that you were only there basically for a year so far, Mitchell. What have you found within the committee? What I'm going to use the word enthusiasm. What do you find from this group, this committee? What do you think?
Well, it's hard to keep up with them because they want to do so many things. You got to slow them down. There's so many things on their plate. They want. They're so enthusiastic about bringing new business and tourism to this area. It's unbelievable.
Thank you. Okay, Carol, carry on. Now you're into the financial part, so.
Okay. Just one more thing. When I grew up here, this Yarmouth had 3 boats, had an airplane twice a day, had, what else did it have?
Train,
Yeah, a
2
train.
buses, 2
Train.
buses.
2 bus services. When that was here, this town didn't have a moment of quiet. Not a moment of quiet. And I want that again.
Okay, so you're.
Bottom line, here comes the money. Show me the money, yes. So, we're looking at a shortfall of $3,134. And we have also a request for 2020 of $2,000. The reason that we did that was, first of all, it was for Doers and Dreamers is what I was initially thinking of, because that also is due in January. And I received from Yarmouth and Acadian Shores a chance to work with them to be able to design a fantastic sort of ad for Doers and Dreamers. So, and then today, as I mentioned, coming in is this opportunity to work with Occasions Magazine. We also had working with us last year for media, Sandra Finney was our media person. I sent around a binder of photographs from the events that I'd love for all of you to take a look at. You can't keep that one though. And please take a look at the event. She did an amazing job for us, and told us that we knew up front that she was only going to be able to do it for 1 year because she has other commitments. However, today when I received the information from Tara, I sent her a quick note and I said, I know that you think that you're all finished, but... And she is more than happy to work with us again to make sure that what we have for Occasions Magazine is top quality. Several of the things that happened when we decided that we were going to do a cultural exchange was we discovered that we had to have, in order to have provincial funding, we have to have, and federal funding, we needed to have the sort of blessing of Nova Scotia Tourism. And so they came down here, and I met with one of them, and they gave me a lot of hints and tips and are very willing to work with us to further advance everything that we feel that we are going to be able to bring to the table for this culture exchange coming up. And last year we were, by the time they were able to come and meet with us, it was a little late for them to be totally on board, so they just helped with that part of it. But for this year we have them totally on board, and that's one of the criteria, for instance, from ACOA, that if they're going to support us funding-wise, that Nova Scotia Tourism has to be on board. So that's one of the criteria that we can check mark off, that that's already taken care of. So again, our revenue in the end, and you have to understand as well that all of everybody who is working on this, no one gets a salary. We are a society, we are not a business at this point. That may have to change, but at the moment we are a society, and so there are no salaries paid, and everybody is a volunteer, which is absolutely amazing. And we have a very strong team, transportation over here, and contacts over here. We have a very strong team. There are 10 of us on the board, and each brings a specific to the table. So, again, repeating myself, revenue 24, 25, 42, expenses 23, 55, 55, 559, 42. We have a shortfall, and we are requesting for 2020 2,000 additional to be able to move forward right away with the advertising and for Occasions Magazine and for Doers and Dreamers.
Thank you very much. I open the floor. Councillor Cunningham, go ahead.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming in, and thanks for volunteering and doing all that work, and thanks also for pulling it off in a hurricane. I was unable to attend, unfortunately, that evening. I was at a wedding in the valley, so lots of important events going on that day. Having said that, conceptually this seems fantastic. I'm even really fired up to go and participate, and so thank you. The one thing I will ask about the finance piece is I see in the budget that you received, not as much obviously as you had requested, but is the amount you get from the municipal units, local government, is the funding from the province and feds somewhat contingent on that or linked to that? So if you were to get more from us,
Exactly. If we get more from our local, then we will get more from the province. It's bottom line, that's basically how it goes.
okay. And I'm always a big fan of leveraging our dollars, so that's good to hear.
Exactly. The other thing is community culture and heritage. The fund that we accessed this year is not the fund that we need to access for the coming year, because it was much smaller in scope, we thought. Okay, so we leveraged the particular fund. I had a conversation with them to decide which way we should go. Like, there are several that you can apply for. And so she suggested I go for the smaller one this year, which I think the maximum is only, I think you can only get a maximum of 10,000 from this particular community culture and heritage, but the fund that she wants us to apply for next year is 25,000 and up. Because she said you're going to, as soon as you start adding a country, like, so you're looking, this budget that you're looking at here was for one country. She said now if you're adding a second country, you have to, your budget is going to at least double and maybe more depending on, transportation, many other things, other factors. But once you have added two, you're now into cultural exchange of more than one country. There's going to be way more expenses.
And the other question was, are you approaching other units in the area for
Absolutely.
dollars? Okay,
Absolutely.
very good, thank you.
Okay.
Councillor Durkee, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and thank you for your presentation. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend either, but I know everybody had a great time from what I hear. I do have some questions. So the budget that you've shown us and the expenditures were predicted, but the actuals are quite significant from, do you have the list of your actual expenditures? So where you've got $9,600 for 6 chefs, are these for them to come from Jamaica here? And how does that work,
Okay,
for
so-
example?
So the 6 chefs are a combination, supposedly, how it was going to be was 3 from here and 3 from there. And how that worked out, it was the same, but only one of them came from Jamaica. The other 2 are Jamaican, but here in Nova Scotia. 1 in Halifax and 1 here in Yarmouth, actually.
Okay.
I don't know if you've had the opportunity, but during the summertime, they had down at the farmers market was Robert Shaw. He was working with Life Skills, and he is actually from Jamaica, and he helped them with a fundraiser down there, and so we had him as one of our chefs from he was from here, but Jamaican. And then in Halifax, there's a restaurant called Jamaican Vibe just off of Quinpool Road, and Courtney Plummer is the head chef there, and he recently is immigrating here to Nova Scotia. So we're going to have 2 of our very own here, which we will keep with us on this exchange because they have so much to bring to us and they're local. So it's even better than if we brought them from away, because then that means that if you like their food and you had the opportunity to sample and to taste their food, you now can go to their restaurants and enjoy it. Also, one of the trade things that we didn't mention here today was one of the things that Nova Scotia and Jamaica has in common is we both have sea cucumbers here. And so Robert Shaw is, although a teacher by trade, is employed at the sea cucumber plant here in our area and is actually the quality control person there. And he is helping the owner of that company to work on his, to work on the health benefits of sea cucumbers here in the area. So he was instrumental in helping them work. That was one of the jobs he had when he lived in Jamaica, was working with sea cucumbers, where they have 3 kinds, we only have 1 here. So the one that we have is the most common, but it's also the one that has the higher concentration of health benefits. So.
Okay, thank you. So I guess what I'm really looking for is your actual expenses as opposed to just the budgetary. Is that
Line by
available?
line?
Yeah.
Okay, so we had passed that in, and I guess it didn't, bottom line, I guess we just put this together. If you need, I do have that, if that's
Well, I just see that
just
you-
not with me.
Okay, because I just see your revenue, so it was not 59,000, it only ended up being 20,000, but, and then your expenses were 23, which means the amount that originally requested was a lot more than actually needed, is that,
Actually, yeah, go ahead.
May I?
yeah?
So we anticipated at Pubnico that we would be about 185 people. And at Cape Foshu, because it was an outdoor event, we would have 250, 300 people.
Okay,
So as we could not, the Cape, there was big trees across the road and power lines down, we had to move to the Yarmouth Golf Course. I think that the maximum capacity there is 125, is that right?
102.
102, pardon me. So we went from thinking we'd have revenue and ticket sales of 250 to 102, and we sold out. We had people that we had to turn away. So we had half the revenue stream that we thought we would.
great, thank you for that explanation. So the anticipation was that you were going to have a lot more people originally?
Exactly,
Okay,
exactly.
thank you, I appreciate
Yeah.
that.
I might say, part of the expense issue that I see we're getting at is expenses were down because we pared the whole thing down,
Right,
knowing we didn't have the funding.
right, that's exactly,
We had $59,000 for the budget.
right.
But you don't have $59,000 coming in, there's no way to get it, you can't spend it, so we pared it down as much as we thought we could, still have it.
Great, thank you for that explanation. There was something else. So for this year, you're looking at an exchange with Italy
And
and
Jamaica.
Jamaica. So we're keeping the same and adding to the
Yes.
event essentially.
And the third year, we'll have 3
Right.
different, and I think that that will be a draw. I mean, local people will love to have the ability to chat with people from Bordeaux and people from Civitanova, and they're friends made. I'm actually working on I've got one student who's going to come in from Bordeaux. The organizers that I'm working with, the son is finishing high school and he wants to come and spend the summer here next summer. So, you know, we're really creating some amazing interactions and relationships. Who knows where this can go? But I think as far as tourism, I think that somebody from Lockport or somebody from Windsor is going to really think about driving to Yarmouth, which maybe they don't think about it so often nowadays, but why wouldn't they drive? They're going to have somebody who won Master Chef for Italy right an hour away. Why shouldn't I go there? You know, so, and I think we'll have people coming from Quebec and people coming from the countries as well, and people from the US coming. Because, you know, it's so challenging today with, I mean, Dominican Republic, their liquor is contaminated, and Mexico, they have all the problems with the cartels. I mean, people now are looking for havens to go and get away that are safe places, places with community. So I think it's a perfect timing to really power this up. And, you know, I think the reaction, even in, gosh, such a devastating time, everybody came and everybody had a blast, and such nice relationships were made. I mean, Mitch and Randy and Jason were just having a blast together, you know, and those are friendships that are made, I'm sure they're going to be for a long, long time. And I think that they're all entrepreneurs, so when entrepreneurs sit together and have a cup of coffee, you never know what's going to stew with ideas. So it's not just about the outside, it's the inside of this, the belly of this, the potential of this is amazing. And it's not a lot of money, really. I mean, towns hire people in the States to make this kind of event and pay hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you have volunteers, you know, and that's the great thing about this community and why we're so blessed to live here.
Right. So I guess I was looking at, you know, how many people could potentially benefit from this event. So originally, so you're hoping for close to 500 people, but because of what happened, we didn't have that. But for next year, that would be, is that about the same target, or are we going for more?
No,
or-
because next year, we will have a second country involved.
So
So
that'll-
there will be more
More.
events.
More
Yes,
events.
exactly. And there will be more variety of events with still the big event being on the rocks.
Right.
Because that is a capacity that we can have a huge amount of people there. And there are other things that are added to that event. There will be like Deep Sky interpreter. There will be, we have signed an MOU to work with the Nova Scotia Indigenous Tourism Association. So Robert Bernard is on tap with that. So the opening where Leland was, the warden was available for, he saw what the traditional Mi'kmaq opening was for an event. And the one that we had this year is scaled way down because we didn't have the funding to be able to, so we were very pleased at what they did. They did a beautiful job.
Oh, it was amazing.
It was totally amazing, and I have to tell you that our visitors, and for those people, there was about 70 people at the opening, those people who were there were absolutely blown away by the Mi'kmaq opening. And there was one of our board members is also in theater and the arts, and she did a play with Robert Shaw's Jamaican children. They did a whole play talking about the native culture and the cross between Nova Scotia and Jamaica, and how close how close our Aboriginal and our Indigenous peoples, how close they are together, and the wars and everything that took place. It was
Sorry, I just have
amazing.
a couple of quick questions, other quick questions. So does any of the money that goes to this assist with the other side where people are going to Jamaica or to Italy for this cultural exchange? Okay, thank you.
It's
Wanted
for
to clarify
money.
that.
It's for money here.
No, it's for here. The
Yeah,
money's here.
okay, thank you. And the last question I had, not a question, a thought. Any chance of maybe getting charter flights to come in from these places?
We are working on that.
And
We're
landing
working
in
on
Yarmouth?
that.
We have an international airport. We'd be happy to receive any charter flights here.
Well, girlfriend, and why wouldn't we try to find a way to charter some flights out as well?
Well,
In
that's
and
true.
out.
Yes, yes.
We have that on our radar. We do.
Great, thank you.
But you see the potential of
Yes,
We
Oh, I
all
see the
can
potential.
The potential,
You-
yes.
But you have to know, I lived and breathed what Carol breathed growing up in
Yes.
Yarmouth, so I know what the potential is. Thank you.
Yes.
I want to say too that Carol talked about the indigenous people, but the Maroons are the indigenous people of Jamaica, and they built the Citadel House, is it? No, the Citadel and the Province House.
Our
In Halifax.
Our province house,
Was
the
built.
basement, the foundation was laid by 500 Jamaicans who came here, were brought here by ship, and they did the entire, and after they had finished the bottom of Province House, they were then sent to,
Sierra
up
Leone.
the hill to the Citadel, where they helped to make the third spike that comes out of Citadel Hill. They then, some of them settled here, but some of them were like way too turned off by our
winters.
cold weather. And so then they were shipped not back to Jamaica, but to Sierra Leone.
Councillor LeBlanc, you have the floor.
Mitch can make sure that that will happen with charter flights.
Well,
I
just saying.
I know Mitch for, I don't know how long, it's been so long, and I know Carol, but I don't think I ever met you, Joanne. Have I?
I did a presentation here, the beginning presentation,
Okay,
because Carol was away. I am a come from away, but I came here for a weekend and bought a house in Cape Fichu.
oh, okay,
And I
okay,
still work away, but my heart, my soul is here.
good, good,
So
good,
I'm trying to bring a little bit of my international flavor.
okay,
Yarmouth has given me so much, and the municipality, and of course I've lived in Cape Fichu, I'm so lucky.
good,
And so I want to do something for this area. because
nice to have you here.
I see the potential, the
Yeah.
people, the nature,
Good,
it's just
good,
amazing.
good. I see you have a 3 series, of 3 events, Friday night VON, but the ask is just for Sunday, for the extravaganza.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure what you're asking.
There's a VON on Surf and Turf on Friday night,
Right,
and you've got this all, and in the picture, you're going to Pubnico, you're going to the lighthouse, but the ask is just for the
exchange-
seafood.
yes, the exchange part
on,
of it.
on Sunday.
No,
If I
it
could
was-
just jump in,
Yes.
So the amount you're requesting is for the event as a whole, not necessarily for one part of the event?
Right,
Yeah.
exactly, event as a whole.
Oh, okay, okay. And this year, you're having Jamaica again, and plus Italy coming here.
Civitanova,
Yes.
Right.
it's a little fishing village.
Yeah.
In the Adriatic coast.
Now, what kind of fishing do they do there?
They have St. Peter fish, which is like a flounder.
Okay,
They have wonderful clams, little clams.
so do they bring, how can they get their recipes here? Do they get that kind of fish here?
Yeah, okay, so yes, they do.
Okay,
And remember that this is an exchange.
Yes.
So what they have the opportunity of doing is, first of all, that the first events, they work with our local chefs.
Right.
So we have an executive chef that is on board with this event, with these events. They work with her and her team.
okay,
Here, with our products. Okay, so we get to
Okay,
demonstrate
yeah, yeah.
everything that we do.
Okay.
For instance, like last year, one of the things that they made for the golf club, which was supposed to be on the rocks, was fish cakes. And the salt fish is a product that's been transported from from our end of Nova Scotia for 120 years to Jamaica.
Oh, okay.
So they got to
That's
actually
interesting.
use, yes, they got to use the
Very
product as it comes out here, even though they were already used to using the product in Jamaica.
So here we promote our food also, like
Oh, yes, for
roti
sure.
pie, seafood.
Absolutely,
oh,
yeah,
okay,
that's the
yeah.
whole idea, because
And the
they,
mu- and
we
the-
want to teach them how to be able to use our products, so that hopefully they will do trade with our people and bring our
Yeah.
products there. And if they've already worked with the product,
Yeah.
it's a much easier sell than if they haven't.
And I see that you've had a lot of music there. Do you have?
Love music,
Yeah. Do you have Acadian music? French-
Absolutely.
Good.
yes, absolutely.
Glad to hear that. Yeah.
So when I was in Chivitanova doing some preliminary work, I went to a restaurant, a very nice restaurant, Michelin one-star restaurant, and they told me they served scallops, but they had them cut into little pieces, 3 pieces like sliced. And I said, "Where did you get those scallops from?" And they said, "Oh, they're from the Boston Harbor." I said, "Well, there's not many scallops grown in the Boston Harbor." So I asked to speak to the chef. I said, "Where are those coming from?" And he said, "We'll get them at the Boston market, but I think they're from somewhere up north." And I said, "Are they from Digby?" "Oh, yeah, that's where they're from." He said, "I can hardly ever get them. They're the best ever." And you know what else he was serving? Nettles. He got nettles from here. And this is in Chivitanova. And he said he has such a hard time to find stuff.
What is that?
Nettles. They're like I think they're some kind of a weed here. Nettles?
It's like they're, okay, and they only grow in, Block Island is the only place I know that nettles grow. And it is like a weed, it's like a grass, it's like a seagrass almost, but they have the most delicate flavor to them if they're cooked correctly.
But he
So-
told me if I can get some scallops on a regular supply, he said, "Can you get me scallops on a regular supply?" I said, "I bet you I can." And I have another guy in Germany that's very eager to talk to somebody about getting supply here. So I think there are lots of trade lanes to open up.
So when is Seafest? Is it the same time? No.
No, Seafest is, excuse me, is in July, and ours is August and September.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. That must be at the same time that the tuna festival is in Wedgeport.
It is, sometimes it's the week before, sometimes it's the week after.
And
This
the- and the-
particular, it depends on the tuna season.
Yeah, and the-
This particular year, in 2019, Tuna Festival was the following weekend.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And then, okay. Thank you.
Thank you. As Mr. Bonner, when we first started to speak, he said, "I think we've used up our time." Yes. You're into your next grant request time, if you want. No, I only have a couple of quick questions. You're $3,100 short from 2019. You're asking for $2,000 for 2020. Is that your grant request that you're asking for? That is above and beyond what you're going to also send in a grant request?
Absolutely, because what we're looking at with this is to be able to accommodate the doers and dreamers, and now the opportunity that we have with
Nova Scotia.
occasions, yes, that is
Okay.
so close, the deadline being January the 10th, that we will not have the opportunity to send out applications and receive grant money in time to be able to do that.
Okay, so I did hear Councillor Cunningham did ask you a quick question, I think it was Councillor Cunningham, about were you going to approach any other units or other departments?
Everybody.
And are you going to
Absolutely.
try and do that before you say January 10th is your deadline? And so on?
Yes, January 10th is the deadline for the Occasions magazine, and I think the end of January is the, yes, is Doers and Dreamers.
Okay. Cutting timelines, very fine. 'Cause
It's
a lot of
very
places,
quick.
yes.
Very, very quick.
Yeah, and you're asking you're asked right now to move forward. Okay, that's fine. Council will have a discussion after. I do want to touch on one quick thing. You did mention a sauce from Jamaica for oysters.
Yep.
Yes.
I guess my question to you then is, and I did see a picture of Nolan Dion in there pertaining to the Eel Lake oysters.
Correct.
Are they connected somehow? Are they sending oysters? Are they doing some type of exchange now with Jamaica or anything?
Okay, right now, they are working on this particular sauce. Sorry. They're working on this particular sauce right now, and that is going to be an exchange. They introduced the sauce, I think, 2 weeks ago in New York. 2 weeks ago in New York, and so they've sort of done all of the product preliminaries for that. Now it's a matter of kind of tying it down as to who is actually going to produce the sauce, whether it's going to be done here or if it's going to be done in Jamaica and then exported. Okay, so it's for sure going to be done here. So, and of course, it'll be distributed from here, too. Yes,
Well,
absolutely.
I guess, if I may, that's where I was kind of, well, I wouldn't say I was on the lead into, I just wanted to know if there was any going forward that it could probably be produced here and exported.
Yeah, for the product for Jamaica use is going to be made in Jamaica, but the product for North America, all of it will be made in Nova Scotia.
Okay, we have facilities right here in
Yeah.
Southwest Nova,
Yeah,
doing seafoods and so
and the
on, yeah.
Dion's are working on that, yeah.
Okay, okay. Is there, oh, I'm sorry, Councillor Cunningham, go ahead, your mic's on.
Oh, thank you, that's perfect. So, yeah, I mean, this is an event that does have our lighthouse figure prominently in it, and so you are, just one last quick question, the timeline for this, obviously the sooner the better for the dollars. So when would you need the money by, Carol, for instance?
Yesterday.
Would be good.
Tonight would be- So given that, I'll move, and again, I dollars are always important, but I'll make a motion that we approve from our operating reserve, $4,500 tonight to honor your request.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're saying 45? There's been a motion made on the floor. Do we have a seconder for that motion? For further? It's been moved by Councillor Cunningham, seconded by Councillor LeBlanc. Discussion. And I guess at this time, I'm going to be honest with you, councillors, I guess I'm going to have to look at the CAO and ask, when this is asked, 45 information, can you give me? I'm putting you on the spot.
So,
but
yep, so we will fully expend your grants reserve. That will be fully expended, and the residual to make up the 4,500 will probably take from the lighthouse operating budget for this year, from the promotions budget. That's probably what we'll do, because this is an unplanned expenditure, so.
Yeah, this is unexpected. We, as in any business, as you're well aware, we budget certain things and so on. And as you folks had budgeted and you have your shortfall, and I respect, you work very diligently and so on, but to have asked, and Councillor Cunningham, thank you for your input and so on, but this does change, I won't say our bottom line, but it does cut in, as the CAO said, where it's going to come from and so on. And the motion is on the floor. I don't know if there's any further discussion, so on. Councillor Durkee, you have the floor.
Yes, I'm just wondering if we could have a little bit more time to discuss this. I'd hate to, it's a significant amount for one event, and it's not that I'm not supporting it. I think it's a great event. But just in terms of our present budget and how that fits. So just some concerns of.
I can absolutely bring specific details to committee of the whole for council so that you'll understand what the residual amount is that would have to come out of the lighthouse marketing budget. Off the top of my head, I'm thinking you only have about $2,700 left in your grants residual. Yeah.
I mean, I truly believe this is a great event for the Lighthouse. There's no question about that.
I guess, so I have a couple of concerns. So the municipality of Argyle has donated nothing to this event, but there are activities happening in their municipality. So I'll be honest, I'm a little uncomfortable with that. And the other thing would be that, you know, moving forward, and I realize you're volunteers, but we do need to see, because these documents are public and this money is public, we do need to see proper financial statements. So proper income statements and proper balance sheets that show your budget and your actuals. We do need to see those things moving forward, or it's going to be difficult.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's why I had asked about the financials first, the actual as opposed to just the budget. And so my personal opinion is I'd like to see that before I made that final decision.
Okay, I'm going someone, if I may,
Yes.
the issue that I think is coming before us is, it's unexpected. I respect fully. And this is like just right outside of our realm. Usually we budget everything, as you can well imagine, and try to
And
stay
so do
within.
we.
Yes. And we've stepped in, and I respect, I've been was part of the original 250th, and I see the potential, and I still do. I still do. And I see Councillor Cunningham has his light on again, and I'll turn him on there in a second. I kind of thought we could have a little more time to discuss this because it is a financial matter, and in camera, and kind of come up with something. But you did state that January 10th is basically the cutoff. Our committee of the whole meeting is on January 8th. So that if you're going to call something cutting it close, that's cutting it close. And the end of December, a lot of units and so on slow down. My question would be, can you get us those financial statements? Do you have those done, those figures and so on, your expenses and everything with next week? Because I would be willing, if my fellow councillors, to have a short, quick meeting sometime next week to discuss.
I
to
think
give
I
you
can
some-
get that together for you so that it's clearer. Yeah, I
You know, I'm just-
understand your concerns 100%.
Yeah.
And I think I can get that done.
Go ahead, Councillor Cunningham.
So, Mr. Warden, we did at last meeting move $500,000 into a reserve, so I mean, it's not like we don't have the money to do this, right? And
No.
where it comes from is, it's not really a material amount. We're only, I mean, it's not a small amount of money, but it's not a lot either for somebody who's volunteering in their services and so forth. So what I'll do is, the motion's on the floor.
Yes.
I think we should move ahead with it tonight, contingent on, I'll add that to the motion, contingent on receiving the financial information that we've requested. Because having another meeting about a relatively small item like this, I don't think we need to do that. So let's get this done.
Okay?
Seconder, I go along.
Okay. So is there any further discussion? Hearing none, are you ready for the question? Question being called. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary minded? Motion carried.
Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Don't make me cry now. 'cause
And
you
look
know
out
how
next
easy-
year, huh? Look out.
Look out next year, be ready. And I will send the dates as soon as they're as certain final to the warden right away. And I'm begging you to be there so that you can actually enjoy all
No,
of
I
this.
challenge everyone. I invited last time everybody. I said, you must come and bring some people with you. And truly, it's so much good energy. It really is what this community is all about.
Thank you.
Thank you. Happy
Good luck next
holidays
year.
to everyone.
Yes, happy holidays, thank you very much.
Item number 7, you have that in your package. It is the minutes from November 27th, the regular council meeting, and November 27th, the public transcript meeting minutes. Can I have a motion, or what is the wishes of council at this time? Excuse me. Go ahead, Councillor.
I move for the approval of the minutes for November the 27th, 2019 regular council meeting minutes, November the 27th, 2019 public transcript meeting minutes.
You have a mover, do we have a seconder for that motion? Seconded by Councillor Durkee. Was there any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary minded? Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 8, business arising from the minutes. 8.1, endorsement of the Mariner Center vision document. You have that in your package, councillors. Was there any concerns, questions, and so on? If not, I have one comment, but nothing from anybody. It is, just let me bring it up. And, yes, here it is. Yep, it's right here. I know, last last paragraph. The last paragraph on the vision statement, the facility. The Mariner Center is a world-class sports, recreation, and events facility. Local, regional, national, and international events call our facility home, and we have had some international competitions there. The facility provides an ice surface, community event space, a full-service aquatic facility, and opportunities for other sports, recreation, and cultural activities. I think we have to, I mean, I'm not saying that it won't be, but you can't go, if you don't have it there as it's something now. That would be my only recommendation, that one line. It says the aquatic, is a full-service aquatic facility. And that's not there yet. I know that's in the expansion project, but don't put in something it's not there yet. Go ahead, Councillor Durkee.
Yes, I completely agree with you. Warden Anthony, we can't say that we have something that we don't have and that we're able to use these facilities until we actually have them.
Yes. So that would be my only comment and so on. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, Councillor, go ahead.
I agree it's not there, but it is a vision.
Yes, it is.
So I think what they're proposing to do is the strategic vision that's what the facility would have in the future, not what it has currently.
That I understand, but anybody reading it today would feel that on that, because it's in the last paragraph, maybe it was at the very first of the vision statement, and it was, vision, then yes, maybe, but if I read that, I would assume you had an aquatic center there.
Right.
Go ahead, Councillor Durkee.
If I may very quickly, they may want to include it as a hope to have. I believe the wording should be, expect to have, hope to have, to look forward to, as opposed to this is what we have. Because it says, provides an ice surface, community event space, et cetera. So
Okay.
I think that's the way to look at future. This is present.
Okay. Is that a doable thing? Yeah, okay. I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Okay, thank you. Get back to, oh, yes, I'm sorry, we need a motion to approve. Go ahead, Councillor.
I'll move we approve the strategic vision with some feedback from our council table, with the feedback from our council table that was discussed tonight. Yeah.
Okay. Seconder for that motion? Seconded by Councillor LeBlanc. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary minded, motion carried. Thank you. Number 10, correspondence, 10.1A for action at 10.1.1. I'm going to excuse myself and turn the floor over to Councillor Cunningham. Oh, I apologize. I jumped one. I usually tick them off. I apologize, councillors. Number 9, new business. Yes, in 9.2. I apologize. 9.1, the November development report. What is the wishes of councillor? Go ahead, councillor Durkee.
I'll make a motion to approve the development report as presented.
Okay. We have a mover. Do we have a seconder for the development report? Seconded by councillor LeBlanc. Was there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary minded, motion carried. Thank you. And 9.2, traffic study. Councillor Cunningham, you have the floor. Go ahead.
Right, just to give the item a little context, we've been in conversation with a number of partners about, especially a transportation infrastructure renewal, about the possibility of a traffic study for the Greenville Road, and that would, the principal benefit of that would be to enhance the attractiveness of our industrial park site, and also, of course, web.com, the access and to that facility and others in our industrial park, or in our business park, sorry. And I guess given that I was really happy, I know our warden's been working, as well as staff has been working very hard on the web.com file, and I was very, very pleased to hear the town, Mayor Mood, certainly in a number of news reports lately has indicated their willingness to help out in any way, which is nice to see the community coming together in these difficult times. Having said that, I'd like to maybe request that our CO and warden get together and prepare a letter to the town requesting that they support a traffic study with that intention of doing on-off ramps on the 101 for Greenville Road.
Okay. We have a motion on the floor. Do we have a seconder for that? Seconded by councillor Durkee. Was there any further discussion on that? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary minded, motion carried. You have the understanding of that? Okay. I guess now I can move into number 10, correspondence, 10.1A for action, 10.1.1, request for a tax reduction, and I'm going to step away. Councillor Cunningham, you have the floor.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, yeah, we have a request for a tax reduction in the amount of $129.41, and everybody sees the document in front of you, so I'll entertain a motion to accept that reduction of 2019 taxes.
I'll move that.
Okay, it's moved. Do I have a seconder? Second. Moved and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you very much, councillor. 10.1.2, letter from Chamber of Commerce, investment attraction. You have that in your package. It's for information and so on. Was there any questions or concerns at this time from on that request? Hearing none? Okay, no, go ahead, councillor.
Well, I think that, we should certainly look at having this conversation with the chamber, certainly, and moving forward. So I think we should receive the letter, and certainly we're willing to work with partners and including them in any meaningful way that we can, because the more oars are in the water on this file, the better.
Go ahead.
So quite right, Councillor Cunningham. I think, in the event that we get to late stage negotiations with a proponent, we may want to create a compelling package whereby local business can provide value-added incentives for employees or the corporation themselves. So I agree, we need to thank them for their offer and let them know that we appreciate it, and that as and when the time is appropriate, the warden will reach out, or the project team. It could be somebody from the province or from ACOA that reaches out to them.
Okay. 10.1.3, letter from Spec Resources, Inc., an invitation to a boiler site visit. What is, you've had a chance, go ahead, Counselor.
Yeah, I think it's an excellent opportunity. I'm just, my apologies, just trying to scroll down.
Wednesday, the 18th.
Yes, yeah, the boiler viewing will take place, thank you, Wednesday, December 18th, anytime between 10 and 2. And I could probably make myself available on the latter part of that. So if we could, when they say, I guess, anytime between 10 and 2, is that anybody shows up in that interval?
That's right, it's an open house concept.
Okay.
But the RSVP is requested just so that the company can plan and have an idea of how many to expect over the course of the time.
So I, for one, will attend.
Yep,
Got it.
My intentions are to.
tentative, yep.
Yep.
Councillor Durkee, Councillor LeBlanc? Yes.
Unfortunately, I'm not available.
Not available, regrets, okay. You can let me know, Councillor LeBlanc, tomorrow, myself or Liz, just let us know so we can RSVP this week. Okay.
10.2, for information, 10.2.1, report from Property Valuation Service Corporation, PVSC, for information. Was there any questions or concerns that you might have? If so, they can be directed through me to the CAO.
For sure.
Hearing none, we'll move on to item number 11 then. Reports of committees. We ready? Mariner Center Management Authority. I believe their meeting was tonight at 5:30, so I know none of us were there, and Councillor Allen couldn't make it. Regional Solid Waste Authority. We had a meeting on Monday. I'll just give you a couple of highlights of that. There's approval of our minutes from November 4th. Done the acceptance of the review of the expenditures dated up to December 9th. Done a complete staff report of all of the different operations of WasteCheck. There was a regional chairs update from a meeting that was held on Friday in Halifax. The policy committee had no meetings. Their next meeting is January 10th. There was a short discussion again on the EPR, Extended Producer's Responsibility. There was also some discussion on coffee cups. Region 7 is the only region in the province of Nova Scotia where Tim Hortons and Tim Hortons only coffee cups are accepted in your blue bag for recycling. They had been requested to look at other coffee cups that are the same coffee cups with a different name. Why couldn't those go into the blue bags also? What I mean by is a couple of the other coffee establishments within the town of Yarmouth, Digby and so on, have asked about their coffee cups. The discussion was, we're not sure what Scotia does with the coffee cups. We know for many years you've been able to do the coffee cups from Tim Hortons. And at that time, that was a request made by the previous owner of Tim Hortons to Scotia. And so that's where that lies. In a bale of paper and cardboard, you're allowed a certain amount of residuals. They're not sure if the coffee cups are going into those bales of cardboard and paper, or are they baled on their own? That is something that we're not privy to. So the board decided not to entertain the request of asking Scotia to put the other company's coffee cups in the blue bag. That was a discussion that they had. Went over the reports. We have to order some more green carts. Reason being is the green carts that are out there now, that a majority of people have, are in the area of 20 years old. And over those 20 years, the sun is starting to break down the quality of the plastic. And when the hauler picks them up sometimes with the automatic loader, they're getting broke and cracked and they can't be repaired. So it's going to be an ongoing replacement of carts from here on in. So that's basically my report. Western Counties Regional Library, Councillor Durkee, go ahead.
Thank you. We just had a meeting last week. The government had come up with a potential funding model and had informed the municipalities of 12 months for that. But it wasn't a final, it was a draft of a model, but apparently, and unfortunately, there were municipalities who weren't prepared to give the amount that was recommended. So unfortunately, that funding model is on hold at the moment, and we're not sure when that's coming forward. I just know that the libraries are desperately in need of increased funding so that we can improve the facilities and pay fair wages to the employees. And so there's still a lot of concern as to how that's going to move forward.
Western Regional Enterprise Network,
We have a meeting coming up in January to discuss the agreement, which ends in March of 2020 with the province, and we're looking for a multi-year funding model instead of year-to-year basis.
Yarmouth Area Industrial Commission, we had a meeting. There was only a few things, basically for information and updates within the Industrial Commission. And I just had word today that one of the last projects at the Domtex demolition has been awarded, and it's moving forward. And talking with the interim manager, hoping to have that done before Christmas. It's a small job, hoping to have that done before Christmas. Yarmouth and Acadian Shores Tourist Association, do any report? Yarmouth County Solid Waste Park, been no meeting. Our next meeting is January, I'm going to say 16th, I think, or 17th. Yarmouth International Airport Corporation, no meeting. Advisory Audit Committee, you gave a report at the last. CAO Committee, there's been no meeting. Doctor Recruitment and Retention Committee. Okay. Yeah. EMO Executive Committee, there's been no meeting other than we've signed off on the intermunicipal. Go ahead.
Yep, so the intermunicipal agreement is fully executed by all three units, and I did receive some correspondence this week from the CAO in Argyle. Argyle will be the host municipality. So I did receive some correspondence to send along some financial information because this year, part of the year was under the old structure and part of the year will be under the new structure. So I had to forward along some financials to get things up and running. So I'm looking for in the new year to see some activity.
Okay. Heritage Advisory Committee, no meeting. Joint Green Energy Committee, no meeting. I call it Marketing Promotions Levy Advisory Committee. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Councillor.
We didn't have a meeting, but we did approve some funding for the Cook's Cup, which is now, I believe, called the Timber Mart Cup. So that was a positive. We're able to have that again.
Planning Advisory Committee, there was a meeting, say, a week and a half ago. We only looked at 2 items. And they're on the tip of my tongue. Was it subdivision?
Instrument of subdivision.
Instrument of subdivision, There was
the
one?
private roads.
And private roads. And the discussion there was that the planners to go back and bring more information forward after he consults again. Yarmouth County Joint Police, no meeting. Yarmouth Recreation Committee, ad hoc. AIM,
Nope, that project's finished.
okay. Fence Arbitration Committee, nothing. Municipal Alcohol Project. I guess my only question I would ask the CAO, I know Councillor Cushion isn't here this evening, and he's worked very diligently on that. And I know that's what it is called, but is there any other way, can it be called, can we give it an acronym, I guess, instead of Municipal Alcohol Project? I guess I'm just bringing it up for some quick discussion.
It's not ours.
I know.
We're invited to sit on it. Somebody else names it, so it'd be difficult for us to rename it, and acronyms are frowned upon.
I know.
So I'd like to be able to help you out.
Anyway, Cape for Shoe Steering Committee.
So we
Nothing.
we haven't met recently.
Okay, and the warden's remarks. The warden basically has not done any remarks for a couple of quick reasons. As we're all well aware, December basically is a month of celebration and so on within not just the municipality of Yarmouth and not just within Nova Scotia or within Canada. So the only remarks that I have, and any councillor is welcome to add to it after I finish, that on behalf of the municipality of the District of Yarmouth, my fellow councillors, and I will list them, Deputy Warden John Cunningham, Councillor Patty Durkee, Councillor Trevor Cunningham, Councillor Lauren Cushion, Councillor Daniel Allen, and Councillor Gerard LeBlanc wish each and every one in the municipality a safe and joyous holiday season. Be safe. Think of your fellow people and not just your fellow man. Think of other people. And as you walk by any of the organizations that are collecting, whether it's the Food Bank, Salvation Army, the Lions Club, or any of the other many wonderful organizations that go out and help in this season of trying to bring joy and happiness to people, but especially young kids and so on, because we were all young once, and Christmas holds a lot of memories for us, and I guess most of those memories would be of our childhood and what we received at Christmas time to go out and play with our fellow neighbors and so on. So on behalf of my fellow councillors, we wish again each and every one of you a very joyous and happy season, and from the staff of the municipality, the same. Enjoy, but do be careful and be wise. So I open the floor to Councillor Durkee if she wishes to add. Go ahead. Go ahead, hit your button, I'll turn. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you. Ditto from what you said. I think you've quite covered it. I want to say Merry Christmas to all those who celebrate, and Happy Hanukkah to all the Jewish people in our community who celebrate that holiday as well. We never know from day to day what's going to happen, so we have to take each day one at a time and make the best of all the time we have.
Go ahead, Councillor Cunningham.
And I really do enjoy Christmas. I have 3 children, so it's not quite as, they're a little bit older, so it's not quite as exciting as it used to be, but it is nonetheless pretty exciting, and glad to see that everybody, many people have their decorations up, and that's always really neat to be able to go around the community and see everybody's decorations, and it really does speak to the spirit that the community has, and you know, the town's nicely decorated and the municipality's nicely decorated, so it's a joyous time, and I know we've had some bad news in the municipality lately, and but we will work as hard as we can to remedy that moving forward. So Merry Christmas, and really also looking forward to the new year 2020, and I'm looking forward certainly to our levy, and it's here this year.
Yes.
It's here on January 1st, I think 11 to 11 to 1, so everybody come out, it's a great time, and Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to all.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor LeBlanc?
I'd like to wish everybody in Yarmouth County Merry Christmas, and to the Acadian community, Joyeux Noël.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. On that note, I guess I'm going to ask for just a recess.
Motion to go in camera.
Okay. Need a motion to go in camera? Moved by Councillor Cunningham, seconded by Councillor Durkee. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary minded, motion carried. Thank you. So now you're going to